Hi everyone, this is our inaugural episode of Degen Dispatch. Why we're doing this? We've been crypto degens for a while now, 3 or 4 years since the last bull cycle, and we feel that what degens are doing is not usually covered in major crypto channels like Crypto Banter or even Ivan on Tech, whatever you have. We have a lot of friends in crypto who are just trading on the centralized exchanges and they never venture on chain. So we feel like they are missing out on this information, and most degen activity, they happen usually with a browser wallet. This happens directly on chain, and most people trading off chain have no idea what's going on, never heard of projects that rise and die on these chains, on decentralized blockchains, and they miss out on potential gains. So we are doing this degen dispatch to inform more people about what's going on. And alongside this, a lot of companies are coming into blockchain, and there will be a lot of activities with a lot of socialization with blockchain integration. One thing we'll not do is meme coins. It's very much like gambling and very short-lived. By the time it's announced, the token might have already gone to zero, or most definitely would have gone to zero. So we are two degens here, me and Jinnie, doing the research and informing you of what's going on so that you don't have to do the research. So Jinnie, can you tell us more about your experience with on-chain?
Hi everyone, I'm Jinnie. I have almost 5 year experience in Web3 and I'm a degen myself. I'm glad to be here to share information with you, and we are Degen Dispatch.
The first topic that we're covering today is actually MapleStory Universe. So MapleStory Universe is actually quite familiar. People have heard of it, especially with the older generation. Recently, they have come into Web3 with MapleStory Universe. MapleStory is a 2D side-scrolling RPG where you complete objectives on the map and you move on to another map to complete another set of objectives, and this routine goes on and on until you reach your first job, second job, third job, and you advance your character, you put in stats, you upgrade your equipment, you increase your skill points to get more powerful, and then finally in the game, in the end game, you defeat bosses, get more equipment, rinse and repeat. In the blockchain part of it, you collect Nexon, and then you can also mint NFTs to sell it. And all of this happens in-game, so it's actually quite convenient. You don't have to interact with a browser to mint the NFT. So that's one good point. But the thing that really bugs me the most is I couldn't find a way to start Maple without having to open my browser first, connect to MetaMask, then launch the game from the browser. We have to launch it from the browser. It's such a tedious process. I don't know why they have that. In this day and age, to launch a game from the browser is very off-putting. I launch games from Steam. I don't even have to go through Steam. I can just click on a game and then Steam would open automatically, and then we can go and play the game already. Or maybe it's already installed. We can access it directly through the hard drive. But Maple, you have to, because of its blockchain integration, you have to connect via MetaMask, and I don't know why. That's a part of the user experience. Maybe they should think about solving that. MapleStory Universe, right? What's it like, Jinnie, for you?
Maple to me is a brand new game because I didn't know it in my childhood. And I know it because the hype from the degens are
Yeah, you weren't born yet.
Maybe, just maybe. And it's from the hype that I know about the Maple, and I'm also very interested in games. That's why I noticed about the Maple on Web3. How do you see for the degen activity on Maple?
I think that people are very profiteering. They're trying to make a profit. They're trying to earn money from playing MapleStory Universe. That's the most of the community's reaction to it. People on X, they are commenting on how the rewards are not great. Like, it earns them probably over $1 for playing for 1 day. That's like nothing, right? So the rewards compared to other kinds of activities on degen on-chain is very poor relative to other things that you can do on-chain.
Do you feel nostalgia and enjoy it because it's like your childhood game?
Well, I didn't play it when I was a child. I installed it for 5 minutes, tried to get through the tutorial, and this was after a long time after it was launched. Finally wanted to get onto the hype, but I didn't like it at all. didn't even appeal to me then, because I was playing other games and other games seems more attractive and more appealing in terms of their gameplay. Like 2D side scroller game wasn't my cup of tea. But then after one I I actually tried MapleStory on a private server, and for other reasons, for personal reasons, I don't want to go into that. But I think the experience was great. I felt that the animations were good, but then they made the leveling so quick in the private server, so it was a different experience. I didn't like having to do things for very long, doing the same repetitive tasks for very long, trying to grind out a character level 250. And,
I
and I
see.
don't and I definitely don't like it now. My character is still stuck at level 72.
Okay, mine is like 55, so we're still so far away to mint our character.
No, really, I really can mint my character, but I
Oh,
just
nice.
didn't want to bother doing it because I didn't want to play the game anymore.
Because I see so many Degens on Web3 say that they feeling very nostalgia for the game, and it's like go back to their childhood one more time.
Well, how old are these people?
For the new gamers, if they don't read the documents or they don't check the updates or anything, they gonna be confused when they want to transfer Nexon.
Speaking about the raffle is so bad. The raffle chances.
I totally agree that I haven't win anything from the raffle. Yeah, I don't know how it worked, but I think it's bad. Or maybe we just not lucky as other player.
Yeah, I mean, these days, rewards in these kinds of live service games, they tend to be guaranteed if you have participated. But in Maple, you have to clear the content, and then you feel like you wasted your time clearing the content because you don't win anything or get anything from the boss that you cleared.
I
And you
think
actually have to win a raffle first before you get the rewards.
exactly. Sometimes gacha a lot is not a good feeling, right?
Yeah,
It's not like when you have to grind so hard.
gacha really bad feeling. And speaking about gacha, even gacha games, they do give you guaranteed credit if you win some, if you cleared something. If you play gacha games, the gacha credit currency that you get is guaranteed. You still get some form of reward in that sense. But in Maple, you get nothing, right? Basically nothing.
Yeah, there are big chance to get nothing, to be zero. And the Maple marketplace is very clean. The UI UX is very top notch. The color, but the problem is sometimes it's irritating for you to have to transfer from game inventory to wallet inventory and then link to the marketplace and exchange it. But I think Web3 is easy to trade on the market, easy to get the money to token, and it's fast. So it's very bright side of Web3 integration. What is your thought about the game? How is your experience?
I thought it was very boring, really repetitive in terms of the grinding. The quests are very repetitive, the stories aren't interesting. I mean, in this day and age of a golden age of gaming, whereby we have so many free-to-play titles to experience and be involved in, why would someone go and play a worse version of Maple that makes them do so much to grind the same experience points? Because I heard that on GMS, on Live Maple, that means the non-blockchain version, is actually much quicker to get to level 200. So why would someone experience the worst version of Maple to grind, and then even then you still get non-guaranteed rewards? So that kind of experience is really putting people off, and especially me, myself.
Yeah, I also see that first launch day was very chaotic to me and to others as well, with thriving number of gamers who join. It's make the login site overloaded. Many people have trouble with Gmail verified code. Many have trouble with their sites and
I remember
everything.
that.
I
I
have,
remember that.
yeah, I had to like wait for almost 2 days to get
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
game,
I only started
right?
3 days into the thing. I don't see why they should deny Gmail in this case.
Exactly. It's just kind of weird for a very
I
big
mean, it's
company.
Nexon, right? It's
It
Nexon.
is,
They've
it
been in
is.
the space
It's what
for
I
so long
mean. It's on
already.
Nexon. For me, it's the game design is very colorful, and we have many places in game. We have word, story, we have the character, we have NPCs.
Production
We
values are higher than what we normally see in Web3 gaming.
Yeah, and also the challenge for the quest Somehow it's good at first, but after that, after 3 days, just boring. Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
after the novelty has worn off, you already feel like it's a chore. I mean,
exactly. You feel like the chore you have to do at home. I can see that after few days, some gamers already made profit for the Maple. Like Itoka on X, he made 1K US dollar
wow.
for sale for item. So maybe somehow Maple is good, but for the exchange ratio, 100,000 Nexon per one NXPC, the Maple token is not that good. That's why many Degens realizes the financial profits is not good for the time you grind for the game. Right? You can grind like you cannot grind 4 hours per day for only one burger.
Yeah, that will be a very tedious experience that would put you off really quickly. When you feel like if the only incentive for you is to play to make money, then it will not be sustainable because over time there will be inflation, the price goes down, and you get really tired of having to farm the same thing over and over again. So I think that I think Web3 games specifically, they should reward you in terms of gameplay and fun and social interactions. It shouldn't be just about the money. So I think the onus is on Web3 games to be fun first. So people will play your games for fun, and then the modicum or the very minuscule amount of reward that you get is just a side benefit or a thing on the cake that is not the entire story that would reward you more. I mean, in this day and age, right? Games like gacha games or free to play games, they already reward you kind of monetarily. Do you think so?
Yeah, I agree with you with this aspect.
If not for Web3 tokens, you can't certify and guarantee that this currency is valid and secure and off your company's tokenization. You can't do that without Web3.
In my point of view, I think Maple choose Web3 for a reason. And sometimes, as a Degen aspect, I think Degen can take the risk. They have the risk rate and they can just grind and take the risk because they Degen.
For me, I think it's too much emphasis has been placed on the reward.
What do you think of why Maple shift to Web3?
I think Maple shifted to Web3 because they are trying to get new players. Because the live game, when it's in competition with a lot of live service games that have more appealing gameplay, like Marvel Rivals, even the old game Overwatch 2, and other upcoming gacha games in the gacha space that are more about fast gratification and faster rewards for players. I think the live version of Maple is actually bleeding players. Like less and less people are interested in the game. Nobody even streams it. On Twitch, you can look at if Maple is up there, it's never up there.
I can see.
Even single player games like Claire Obscura is beating MapleStory, and very easily. Even indie games that are come out occasionally here and there, they are beating MapleStory. So I think while it's good that MapleStory is the first time that is one of the first times that a major Web 2 games publisher is entering the space, it's not really doing a good job of integrating Web 3, and they're only doing it because they want more players for their MapleStory IP. And they even said so themselves on the white paper. The NXPC, which is the token that you earn, the NXPC is a protocol for lasting rewards. So this lasting rewards thing is even in their messaging. They want players to come in because of these rewards. And rewards would have a strong connection to financial motivation, right?
Yeah, if Maple want new player, I don't know, compared to the white paper for the lasting word, I don't know if it gonna last. Because the problem with Degen on Web3 is moving forward very fast. They have to catch with the flow of Web3 and everything moves so fast in it. That's why if Maple cannot do good with the monetizing and be good with the tokenomic, the Degen gonna quit the game and they will shift to other opportunity. Because, right? Because the name Degen itself is focused on the profit,
Oh.
not for the feeling.
Oh, wow. The price went up a bit. I'm looking at the price of NXPC right now. It went to a high of over $3, crumbled to about $2.50, crumbled all the way with the inflation and bots to $1.84. That was the bottom, and it's now back up to $2.23. So it might seem that a recent update and address with regards to the hacking and the inflation, there's been a good response, positive response towards it. I'm also not convinced that this lasting rewards could be lasting.
They need better advisor for Web3 for this point because they come out with the token first, the NXPC. So the problem is Maple have to remain the tokenomic very well. So the market is not die, the game is not die as well. And then because their target is having new player, I think right now they achieve that. But for long term, if the tokenomic is not good, they need to fix that. They need to improving the new player target because that when Degen left and you cannot do anything about it if you don't make up with your monetizing system.
Yeah, we got to look at, everybody will be looking at NXPC price.
Exactly. NXPC's price kind of decide the number of new player come to game. And because of that, I think that Web3 is not good for game company to get more new player and to be lasting with them.
I think it can, but it shouldn't be about financial incentives and profits only. But we can use, like you said, to use the technology to be about for payments, for transactions, to prove the scarcity of supply and the uniqueness of in-game items or currency. I think use the technology this way, like non-financially, but in terms of transactions, quality of transactions,
exactly.
and the quality and verifiability and uniqueness of the things that are being transacted. Like we can imagine a very social world whereby people have to trade digital goods and services, maybe ore, minerals, or they extract ore and minerals from the game world. These kind of things can be obtained and verified in a very authentic fashion through Web3. So there are affordances in the game world that can be verified, which would employ Web3 and employ it in a way whereby it will be better than the status quo right now. I think we were discussing about Counterstrike skins.
Yeah, Counterstrike is very OG game for gamers, and as I see, Web3 integration can be perfect fit for them because they can trade gun or other items with Web3. It's showable. It's like you can show with your friend the gun NFT, and it's very unique. You own that image, you own that gun, and people know that. That's why Web3 integration is good for that part. So I think Maple should change their target, or they should enhance or improve. Okay, so Keith, how do you think about the game reward system? I think that if people focus on Maple for being rich, they will be disappointed, since the money you grind are much lower than the hours you play.
Yeah, I think for a game this boring, it feels like a chore, it feels like work, you get tired of it.
Maple has very attractive reward system. They have 1 billion pool prize for
That's
player.
just the message.
It's still very attractive in current market.
It will be inflated when people realize that is how it works in Web3. Yeah, sure, it is 80% allocated of tokens allocated to the community, but eventually 80%, even 100% will be oversaturated very quickly if degens realize that. They're like sharks, they swam around the blood really quickly, correct?
Exactly. So that's why moving to Web3 is also good and it's also bad. It's bad because you have to control the tokenomic, have to control the market. That's why you need maybe you need a very good advisor, or you need to be so good with the demand and supply to avoid inflation.
I think not only the messaging of Maple or other Web3 games have to change, I think the community itself around games, around Web3 games have to change also. I think any sort of X to earn activity shouldn't be solely motivated by money. Games can be motivated just like Web2 games for fun. A very tiny
Exactly.
part of the
Exactly.
incentive could be
Game is for
monetary.
fun. Game is for fun. Exactly.
Yeah, the thing is, even if it's $1 that you earn or a few cents, it is still $1 or a few cents over and above if the game was just Web2. Even now, games are already rewarding players in some way. So I think there is a room for Web3 expansion in terms of tokenomics and rewarding players financially, but that shouldn't be the only factor.
Exactly. We have very good point of view of each other for the Maple, right? And for you, Degen, you can see and think about if you want to have long-term relationships with Maple, or you just want like one night stand with them, just do yourself
What?
research. Right? Maple is not one night stand as I researched because they have very attractive and very clear roadmap. So let's see what are your thoughts for Maple. Comment and tell us how do you think. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. See you on the next episode.